Hey, what's up guys? It's Jackie, the vegan marketer from Influential Vegan, and today I wanted to share a profound but simple but applicable idea with you, so then that way you can better influence yourself and those around you, right? And this idea I'm gonna share with you is actually from one of the leading professors, one of the leading researchers in the sociology of culture. And this is huge, right? Because culture is largely the interactions that we have within ourselves and with other people. And how she defines this, right, is actually, one of her theories is that of a toolbox. And let me explain what I mean by this, or what she means by this. So she says that throughout our lives, throughout our childhood, in the experiences that we get growing up and the ones that we seek out, we actually call this skills, these sets of skills and habits and styles, we call that habitus, right? And why this is cool is because we actually have more than one habitus, right? We have more than just type of one person than we usually are. And what's really cool about this is that she says which habitus that is called forth and we actually act on, the ones that we do are a result of the situation and the circumstance that we're in and our environment, who we're around. And that is pretty cool, because what that means then is that we are not just a singular person that acts the same in every single scenario. I mean, if you just look into your own life, I share into mine, it is exactly not like that, right? Because if we look at how I talk with you, for example, or how I talk to my parents, how I talk to my friends, how I talk to professors or policemen or strangers, it's all different. I have a different set of habits, styles, and skills that I call forth in certain situations, right? And all of that situations and that habitus that is called forth is determined by our environment. It is determined by the situation that we are in. So why is this so cool? Why is this so powerful? The reason it's so extremely powerful is because then we can call forth our ideal, our desired habitus by putting ourselves in the environment that we want that habitus, or that habitus is called forth. So put very simply, because we are intersectional, because we are multidimensional, because we are multifaceted in who we are, and we are not just one person, but we are a set of different things. So like, for example, you know, I am a college student, I am also an entrepreneur, I am also a vegan, I am also a male, I'm also a lifter, right? All these different aspects of us are going to be, all these different aspects of me are going to be called forth depending on the scenario, right? I'm also a friend, I'm also a son, I'm also a person who likes watching movies, a person who likes getting stuff done. So if we look into that, then we have to see, or the way we can manipulate, so to speak, which habitus that we do. And that is extremely important, because what we actually do the majority of the time is what we're gonna get, as a result of. So what's really cool about that then is that we can craft our environment, we can put ourselves in an environment that calls forth the habitus that we want. You getting that? That's pretty cool. So what does that mean for you? So that means if you want to awaken, right? If you want to call forth your habitus of the entrepreneur, if you want to call forth the habitus of the hard worker, right? Then you would put yourself in the scenario, in the situation, both physical and mental, in that mental space and that physical space, and surround yourself with that situation. So then that way you can actually call forth that person, that type of set of habits and skills that's in you, and call forth that person to act in that way. Because as a son, that same set of skill sets is not going to apply very well to entrepreneurial type stuff. And that's why it's so important for us to be very deliberate about the type of mental state that we're in and the environmental state that we're in. Is that making sense? Okay. And in addition to that, there's something else that's really cool, right? Because we can realize how that influences ourselves, right? How that can affect who we become ultimately, like, for the majority of the time, by being in the scenarios and situations that we put ourselves in. But then also we can think about someone else. and the habituses that they have, right? The different interpersonalities that they have. Which one of those, you know, the person you're trying to influence, the type of person that you're trying to change, or a stranger or whatever else, the majority of the time, what set of habits and styles and skills are they calling for? Are they usually as students? Are they usually in, you know, the gym mindset? Or are they usually in the, you know, all the different things that they be thinking of, right? Because any given time, a person is most likely going to have a certain preoccupation. And that preoccupation that is, you know, taking up the majority of their headspace is actually going to determine the type of behavior that they exhibit, right? So why that's so huge is because, I'm gonna introduce another idea here, is because we can actually change we can call forth someone's habitus, we can call forth a certain aspect of someone's identity before giving them something really, really powerful, giving them something really, really cool. So this is actually a concept by a Robert Cialdini, right? He wrote the book Influence. He also wrote Persuasion, right? And this is actually from Persuasion. And this is the idea of preframing, okay? And this is really, really cool. So what is preframing? So basically, it's before getting you to do something, I'm gonna signal some type of cue, so then that way you're more receptive to doing it, okay? And what was really cool was that he even did an experiment. I'm not sure if it was his or just one he cited, but they actually did an experiment, right, where there was two girls, right? One would ask, it was like a 20-something attractive girl, and she would ask this, you know, dude along the street, like, hey, you know, these 4 or 5 guys stole my purse, can you get it back for me? And then I believe it was like a 30% chance of them actually going back and confronting them, right? But when they were pre-framed with someone else, maybe a block or two earlier, asking if it was, you know, where Valentine Street is, which is an association of like romanticness, right? I think that 30% actually went up to 50% or 60%. And that's huge because there's only one difference there, right? Just that pre-frame of someone asking if the street is, you know, Valentine's Day, or, you know, Valentine Street, which sparks an emotional pre-framing, okay? That's pretty cool. And if we were to think about this as far as veganism, as far as the type of influence you're trying to create, let's try to think of how we can pre-frame someone before trying to sell them a product, right? Sell them a message, sell them an idea, sell them something for free even. So a lot of the times if we were to do this digitally, what this means is that they would probably be in a certain headspace, and we want to get them in a different headspace that is related to what we're ultimately trying to sell them by, you know, pre-framing them. So what I mean by this is through Instagram, through YouTube, through an email, you would actually pre-frame them before getting them onto your sales page. Okay, if you don't know what you know I'm talking about as far as like emails and sales pages and stuff, you really should be on that because that's really, really powerful. But what I mean by that, right, is that when you want to sell something, whether it's an idea or it's a product or a service, you're gonna have a sales page, right? You're gonna have something that talks about the emotional reasons why you want to get that product or get that service or get that message. And then you're gonna follow that with emotional reasons why. And then you're gonna follow that with a risk reversal and follow that with a guarantee and all that great stuff, right? But what I mean by that is that that page is created solely with the intention of trying to sell that message, right? But what I'm telling you with this idea of pre-framing, with this idea of intersectionality and being able to call forth a certain identity, is to leverage this idea of pre-framing, right? So before they get to the sales message, actually pre-frame them with your email, pre-frame them with your Instagram post, pre-frame them with your YouTube video, pre-frame them with a certain conversation before you get to the sales page here, right? And if you're not doing this digitally, think about how you would do this in a conversation. You would bring forth someone's identity as a vegan, for example, or as a student, for example, before you ask them for something that's related to veganism, or before you ask them something that's related to school. And a lot of us understand this on a intuitional level, right? We have that intuition of being able to understand that you know. But, you know, making this explicit and why it works changes the experience of how you do this, right? So now you cannot just do it by intuition, but instead you could do this deliberately. And this is one of the really great things about learning influence is that once we're able to, or one of the great things is, for one, a lot of times if you're just, you know, are pretty socially savvy, right? You might be doing this stuff anyways, right? But by being aware of this information, being aware of these type of concepts and why they work, it changes everything, because then you can be deliberate about how you go about trying to sequence, you know, what you're trying to sell and whatever you're trying to say. Okay, so that is really cool. Okay, so with that, I feel like that was a pretty packed video. If you like that video, give that a thumbs up. Share this with someone else who could benefit from this type of concept, from this idea. And yeah, no, I want to appreciate, yeah, no, who says yeah, no? That's something I've been working on, right? Because we say yeah and then no. What does that mean? Does that mean yes or does that mean no? But anyways, I just want to say I appreciate you for watching this far. I hope you actually leverage this idea in your marketing efforts or in your communication efforts, and you really see some, what's the word I'm looking for? You really see some like real value out of this, right? You see some external, real life, material. You see some material results as a result of this, okay? So with that, again, I appreciate you. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you soon.